Leave the king the alone. I don't care, bro. I'm gonna post my wife as much as I want. Go post your wife when you wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mentor.
What happens when the student doesn't just pass the teacher, but straight up burns his whole legacy to the ground? That's exactly what's going down right now as Ye turns his fire on Jay-Z. The same man who once opened doors for him. The same man he used to call Big Brother. But that love, long gone. Now Ye's mission is to crush Jay-Z where it cuts deepest. His family, his reputation, and those dark little secrets he's been guarding for years. Jay-Z was already looking shaky in court with that paternity case hanging over his head. Rumors about an alleged son he's been dodging for decades. For a mogul who built his image on being untouchable, that stumble alone was enough to make folks whisper. But yeah, he wasn't about to let that slide. He grabbed the rumor, flipped it, and threw it back at Jay-Z like a live grenade for the world to watch explode. And yeah, didn't just expose the dirt. He soaked it in gasoline and lit the match so everyone could watch it burn. Post after post, he's been dragging Jay-Z, clowning him as a hypocrite, preaching loyalty and family while secretly battling lawsuits from people claiming to be his kids. West's shots weren't soft punches, nah, they were deep cuts, straight up slashes, calling Jay-Z a fraud in front of the whole world. You kept reminding folks that behind the shiny Rock Nation empire is a man accused of walking away from his own blood. And here's the part that really chills people. The whispers say Ye's been sitting on a secret vault of dirt about Jay-Z for years. Insiders swear Ye has receipts stacked, texts, files, documents, the kind of stuff that doesn't just expose messy affairs, but could wreck Jay-Z's carefully polished legacy forever. So now the question is, was this just Ye going off like he always does? Or was this a trap he's been waiting to spring for over a decade? That's the thought eating at everybody watching this chaos unfold.
Never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land.
And here's where it gets real wild, because if Ye's got even more ammo, Jay-Z might be facing something way bigger than Twitter slander. The rumor mill is buzzing about secret settlements, shady late-night calls, and even under-the-table offers. Word on the street is Jay-Z tried the one move he swore he'd never touch, cutting a quiet payoff deal. Imagine that. The king of calm, the man who always brags about playing chess while everyone else plays checkers, allegedly tried to pay Ye to zip it. But yeah, true to form, he flipped the script. Ye didn't just reject that so-called deal, he dumped gasoline on the fire and blasted the speakers wide open. Picture this, Jay-Z, the billionaire mogul who sidestepped rivals, politicians, and even prosecutors, suddenly getting out-trolled by Ye, a man who lives off chaos and proudly screams that nobody on this earth can control him. But this feud ain't brand new. The cracks go way back. You never forgot the day Jay-Z and Beyonce straight up skipped his wedding to Kim Kardashian in 2014. For yeah, that wasn't just a no-show. It was a knife in the chest. Then, years later, Jay-Z picked Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl halftime show instead of him. And that was another sting that Ye just couldn't let go. Every slight piled on until the resentment boiled over and Ye turned his online meltdowns into open conflict, dragging not only Jay-Z but even his innocent kids, Sir and Rumi, into the mess. The internet went into shock. Ye posted, deleted, then reposted disturbing insults about Jay-Z's twins, so grotesque that even Kim Kardashian, who has swallowed years of his antics, finally hit her breaking point. Reports say Kim was furious, her patience gone, and behind the scenes she even started reevaluating the custody deal over their kids. Now Ye's beef with Jay-Z is spilling over into his own family's legal drama, setting off a domino effect of destruction. And the wildest part? Ye flat out admitted in a deleted tweet that he didn't take those posts down out of regret. He only did it because he was scared of losing his account. That's not remorse, that's strategy. That's how wild this has gotten. Ye knows his words are venom, but he only pulls them back when his platform's at risk. He swears that when his marriage was crumbling and he was fighting to keep custody of his 4 kids, Jay-Z stood by, silent, letting the Kardashian machine roll over him without lifting a finger. They could have used their power to stop the Kardashians from running me over, Ye ranted. To him, it's pure betrayal. His one-time mentor leaving him stranded when he needed him most. But here's where it twists even darker. He is tying these latest explosions to his new music drops. He dropped his visual album Bully in 3 different versions online, all while blasting Jay-Z in the same breath. And he didn't stop there. He even pulled his son Saint into the spectacle, casting him in the project with a mallet in hand, symbolically striking back at everyone Ye calls his enemies.
You know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not For the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're gonna know about it. They're gonna see it. And it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
Performance art? Maybe, but it's also personal warfare, blending his music hustle with his obsession to drag Jay-Z's name through the mud. Ye even bragged that the album title came from Saint himself after the boy said, "Another child was weak." It's Ye weaponizing his own family for the cameras, turning them into pieces in his never-ending beef with the Carters. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stays locked in silence. That's always been his move. Let the storm rage, stay quiet, keep the crown polished. But this time, that silence is starting to look like weakness. To the public, it almost feels like Ye is running the scoreboard in this feud. Once upon a time, Ye wrote Big Brother as a love letter to Jay-Z, but from the moment he called him out in Paris, back in 2016, for not visiting after Kim's robbery, that brotherhood was gone. And now, it's a battle. That craving for validation has curdled into pure venom. You see it every time Ye drags Beyoncé into the crossfire, questioning her loyalty, painting her as guilty by association. You see it when he throws shots at their kids, only to turn around and swear he still loves Jay. It's obsession mixed with hate, a twisted love-hate rivalry that feels like family drama gone toxic, staged in front of the entire world. And for Jay-Z, the timing couldn't be worse. He's not just dealing with Ye's non-stop humiliation campaigns, he's also knee-deep in a courtroom nightmare with Rymir Satterthwaite, the man who claims he's Jay-Z's hidden son. That case has been bouncing around the courts for years, dismissed, refiled, delayed, but now it's roaring back with new energy. Pile that on top of Jay-Z's name being dragged, fairly or not, into the scandal swallowing up Sean Diddy Combs, and suddenly Ye is circling like a shark smelling blood. This is a perfect storm. Lawsuits, whispers of illegitimate kids, and a rival who thrives off chaos. And if Ye really does have the secret files he brags about, receipts, documents, texts, dropping them right now would be the ultimate checkmate, hitting Jay-Z at his weakest moment. And the whispers don't stop there. Industry insiders claim Ye is already hinting about other hidden children, suggesting Jay-Z has been buying silence with hush money and houses to keep everything buried. True or not, the rumors stick because Jay-Z keeps dodging the one thing that could shut it all down, a DNA test. And in the court of public opinion, silence only makes him look guilty. Silence might be Jay-Z's favorite weapon, but in this feud, it looks like straight up guilt, and Ye is blasting that silence through a megaphone. The whispers are already out there that Jay-Z tried to cut a secret deal with Ye just to shut him up. Think about that. Jay-Z, the man who never bends, allegedly reaching for his wallet because he knows how dangerous Ye's tongue can be. But Ye ain't only locked in on Jay-Z, he's dragging everybody into the chaos. Kim Kardashian, his own kids, even Diddy. He feeds off this madness, screaming that celebrities are nothing but puppets under control, while crowning himself the one man who can't be tamed. And when he points at Jay-Z and Beyoncé, painting them as pawns of some shadowy forces, it stops sounding like paranoia and starts looking like strategy. Ye is flipping the script, casting them as the establishment villains while he plays the outlaw truth teller. Messy? Yeah. Offensive? Definitely. Reckless? Without a doubt. But here's the kicker. It works. The world can't look away. Every rant turns into breaking news. Every deleted post is screenshot and saved. Every vicious jab at Jay-Z's family becomes gasoline for the fire Ye keeps blazing.
Felonies, I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
So here we are watching a twisted showdown. Jay-Z, the ultimate chess player, looking weaker by the day, while Ye, the self-proclaimed agitator, just grows louder, angrier, and wilder. The question isn't if Ye will stop. It's how far he's willing to go and what kind of bombshells he's hiding, waiting for the perfect moment to drop. Because Ye's obsession with humiliating Jay-Z doesn't just scream ego. It looks like a vendetta years in the making, born out of the sting of abandonment by the very people he once called family. When Kim's empire clashed with his breakdowns, when custody conflicts drained him, Ye thought Jay-Z and Beyoncé would step in. Instead, they stayed silent, and that silence became the wound he's been cutting back open ever since. Ye wanted the Carters' influence, their power, their cultural clout, to shield him when life was breaking him down. Instead, he says they turned their backs. In his own words, they could have used their cultural position to not just watch the Kardashians run me over. For a man who once called Jay-Z his brother, that silence cut deeper than any insult online. It became the wound that never healed, the reason Ye now drags their family name through the mud every single chance he gets. That feeling of being the outsider, it's haunted Ye since day one. Back when he was producing hits for Rockefeller, insiders whispered he wasn't built like the rest, too artistic, too unconventional, not street enough to belong in Jay-Z's tight-knit circle. For someone starving for brotherhood, those whispers planted resentment early. The more he was reminded he didn't fit in, the more determined he became to prove he could rise above them all, even eclipse the mentor who once brushed him off. That black sheep identity didn't just shape his art, it fueled his obsession to dominate.
Think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up beyond.
To show the world the kid they underestimated could stand taller than the empire that tried to box him out. And as Ye's fame skyrocketed, the gap only grew wider. Jay-Z and Beyonce perfected their image, graceful, elegant, dripping in wealth and control, while Ye unraveled in public, raw, chaotic, and unpredictable. The contrast became a canyon. The Carters closed ranks, protecting each other like royalty, while Ye spiraled in the open, desperate for the same loyalty and protection they never offered him. And the slicker and more polished they looked, the more alienated Ye felt. That isolation hardened into fury, and that fury now bleeds into the very relationships he once swore he'd cherish forever. What outsiders might see as small, forgettable moments became scars for Ye, proof that the Carters never truly claimed him. Their absence from his wedding, to most, it was just a scheduling conflict. To Ye, it was the ultimate betrayal, the sign that he was never really family. Every skipped event, every withheld opportunity, every silence during his darkest hours cut him deeper, stacking wound on wound until all he could see through was the lens of abandonment. And once those scars hardened, everything Jay-Z did looked like betrayal. That's why Ye's humiliations of Jay-Z feel so personal. They're not just wild antics for clout. They're desperate attempts to flip the script, to claw back some power in a relationship where he always felt like the little brother who never measured up. If Jay-Z wouldn't embrace him as family, then Ye would force recognition as an enemy. The jabs, the threats, even dragging Jay-Z's wife and kids into the fire, all twisted moves demanding acknowledgement by tearing down the picture-perfect image Jay-Z worked so hard to protect.
There are people who did short sales on their stocks right after that, made a lot of money, including Sean Carter. Now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident?
Ye forces the world to look at him, even if it's through the thick smoke of scandal and chaos. But here's the haunting truth. Underneath all the madness, there's still longing. Ye's obsession with exposing Jay-Z is tangled with a need for validation from the man whose approval once meant everything. By humiliating Jay-Z, Ye is really screaming the question he can't say out loud, why was I never enough for you? That's the duality that makes this feud so explosive. Ye as both villain and victim, attacker and abandoned. It's not just drama for headlines, it's the painful unraveling of a brotherhood that was never whole to begin with. It's heartbreak at the root of it all. Ye has admitted he's always felt like the black sheep of the industry, craving the kind of family that music never gave him. He thought he found it with Jay-Z and Beyonce, but when his world collapsed, that family was nowhere in sight. The fury we see now, the screaming all-caps rants, the vicious insults, even the grotesque jabs at Jay-Z's children feels less like clout chasing and more like the rage of a man punishing the very people he once begged to love him. Because what is public humiliation, if not revenge from someone who felt humiliated first?
Now, if Harley was part of intelligence, right, what kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that? They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, not you, man.
But they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
And then there's Beyonce's role. Fascinating, calculated, and mysterious. The queen of silence, the master of her own image, hasn't given Yes so much as a glance. No statements, no comments, no subtle nods, nothing. To the outside world, that looks regal, composed, untouchable. But the real question is, does that silence hide fear or strategy? Because if even half of Ye's rants carry truth, and if he really is sitting on those secret files, then Beyonce's silence could be less about elegance and more about survival. Maybe it's her way of denying him fuel, or maybe, just maybe, It's the quiet signal that the Carter empire isn't as bulletproof as it looks. Is her silence power, or is it the calm before the storm? Insiders say Beyoncé has always played this game perfectly, knowing when to step in and when to vanish. During Jay-Z's cheating scandals and legal heat, her silence was the strategy that let speculation burn itself out. But Ye isn't a tabloid, and he isn't a rumor blog. He doesn't stop, and that makes him a whole different kind of threat. Ye feeds off silence. He twists it into validation. Every day, Beyoncé stays quiet. He grows louder, wilder, and more outrageous, dragging her deeper into his battlefield without her even saying a word. But here's the burning question. What happens if you finally drop something so explosive that Beyoncé can't stay silent anymore?
Conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over.
And the whispers turning sinister don't stop there. The rumor that Jay-Z tried offering Ye a private settlement behind the scenes is already shaking the industry. If the mogul who never bends really tried to pay Ye off, it means the Carters are rattled. It means they know Ye isn't just ranting for headlines. He might be holding bombs big enough to destroy their carefully polished empire. What if Ye has proof of more illegitimate children? What if he's sitting on receipts of shady business deals that don't fit Jay-Z's clean billionaire image? Even whispers of those possibilities are enough to crack reputations that took decades to build. And remember, Jay-Z is already drowning in battles. The paternity conflict with Rymir Satterthwaite refuses to disappear, no matter how many times his lawyers call it a harassment campaign. Add to that his long friendship with Diddy, which has now pulled his name into lawsuits filled with dark allegations about sinister parties going back decades. He knows every crack in the armor. He knows Jay-Z's silence isn't just about dignity, it's about survival, and he's choosing this exact moment when the walls are closing in to strike hardest. Ye isn't just feuding, he's going straight for the jugular. This feud isn't just gossip, it's a battle to rewrite history. Ye doesn't just want Jay-Z embarrassed, he wants him dethroned. Think about it. Jay-Z has spent decades building the myth of being hip-hop's ultimate icon, the blueprint for turning rap into empire. Ye, on the other hand, got painted as the unstable genius, brilliant but broken. By tearing Jay-Z down, Ye flips the whole script. Suddenly, he's not the outcast anymore. He's the truth teller, the rebel, the one man bold enough to torch the throne. And that's the real question here. Is this feud really about family drama, or is it about legacy? Because make no mistake, this isn't just about rants and deleted posts. This is a war to decide who history crowns as the king of the culture and who gets buried under scandal. And Ye has already proven he'll cross any line to get there. He's gone after Jay-Z's marriage, his children, even his silence.
We have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy law.
And if the whispers are true, he's still holding more bombs in the chamber, waiting for the moment that causes maximum destruction. That's what makes it terrifying. Ye has nothing left to lose. His reputation's already battered, his empire cracked, his public image in flames. Chaos is his comfort zone. He survives in it. But Jay-Z and Beyoncé, their dynasty is built on control. Flawless rollouts, perfectly timed statements, images polished until they shine. All it would take is one loose thread, one leak, one crack, one secret too big to hide, and their entire empire could unravel. Here's the chilling question we're left staring at. Are we about to see secrets explode so big that even the Carters can't bury them? Will Ye be remembered as the man who brought down Jay-Z's legacy, or just as the unstable provocateur who finally crossed the line too far? We could be standing right on the edge of hip-hop's most explosive reckoning, and when the truth finally drops, nobody's walking away clean. Not Jay-Z, not Beyoncé, not even Ye himself. The fallout could shatter the entire image of hip-hop royalty as we know it. So what do you think? Does Ye really have the power to burn down the Carter empire brick by brick, or is this just another manic circus show that will fade into the noise once the headlines move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because trust me, every opinion throws more fuel on this fire. And hey, if you want to keep uncovering the scandals, the secrets, and the drama the industry doesn't want you to see, make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe, share this with your crew, and don't forget to drop a comment below. I'll see you in the next one.